Today's episode, you guys, is brought to you by Perfect Storm Real Estate Specific Software. It's the website I use in my business. I'm actually a partial owner within the company that's been able to give my input to help create a piece of software that is uber effective at lead generation in our real estate businesses. That website, www.perfectstormnow.com. Go check that out. It's amazing, epic front-end lead generation site that's extremely affordable for real estate agents out there. Also, today's episode is brought to you by our 90-day mastery bootcamp. If you're in the real estate industry, if you're wanting to take your business to the next level, this is a gnarly, crazy experience. We go through for 90 days straight. There's there is 13 total sessions that we go through. Each weekly session is about 2 to 3 hours long every single week. Plus, you have daily access to me going through the experience through the group. So to check out more about that program, we roll those out about every 90 days. We stagger them once in a while, but we do about 3 or 4 of those every single year. We have one starting September 28th, so next Monday, which is the last one in 2015. So if you want to spend the next 90 days with me, about 40 hours of just crazy epic content helping your business take it to the next level, go to www.90daymastery.com. That's our sales page. You can see testimonials, learn more about the product, and register and sign up right there. If you are signing up, make sure to use the promo code LiveMastery, all caps, all together, all one word, LiveMastery. It saves you $500. It makes that whole entire 90-day coaching experience only $997 for you guys. So, all right, let's jump on in. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another episode of Leveling Up. Every single week, I come at you, I talk to you about different areas that you can level up in your life, different things that I've experienced, struggles that I've been able to overcome, struggles that maybe I'm even going through right now. Just kind of keeping it real on this show, this segment. So many people in the entrepreneur space, in the business space, have these massive egos, and they want to celebrate their successes, but they never really talk about the struggles that maybe they've been through and different things that they're going leveling up. So we like to talk about that here on the show and just get real, so you guys can kind of know what to prep for. And if you're going through a rough time, hopefully my hope is that this gives you inspiration to keep going through that time, keep pushing through that time, so then that you're not quitting, that you're not giving up. So today, you guys, on this episode, this is something I haven't really talked about a whole lot before. I mean, I've shared this stuff in my story, but it's not something that I've kind of talked about how to do it and how to have a solution of it. But this last week, I had a guest on the show, Tommy Baker, fitness guru, ex-CrossFit owner, and now he owns a couple companies right now, and he's a really brilliant guy. And he asked a question, and it really just inspired me to create this show. So we're talking about failures, our biggest learning experience, our biggest growth experiences. And I'm talking to him about, okay, hey, like I'm on top of the world, like things are going great, my business is going great, and then I start losing it all. Like my savings deplete from hundreds of thousands down to zero. But then I still had expenses. I still had support staff. I still had people that I had to. I still had obligations I had to take care of. Right. So the business credit cards start getting ripped out. And next thing I know, I depleted my savings. I'm $100,000 in credit card debt. And it took me like 18 months to be able to get out of this position, out of this transition. Right. And he was asking, he's like, well, dude, like, what were you going through? What was your mind going through at that point in your life? How did you get out of it, right? Which was an awesome question. And what was going through my head at that point, honestly, because it was one of those things too, where you guys got to understand, like, I had already somewhat made it, and then I made some bad decisions and started to lose it all, and did lose it all. But the rest of the world thought I was some like rock star, so like here I am, like people like praising me, and I'm like going out there speaking on stages and all this stuff when like I'm struggling worse than I've ever struggled in my entire life. And at that time, I mean, I totally felt defeated. I totally felt like this massive failure. And not so much as a business, but really just be honest with you, just like as a person, as a father, as a husband, it's like, how in the hell did I let my family get into this position? How did I, you just feel like an absolute and utter loser at that time. But I knew at that time, I just want to talk to you guys because I know that there's a lot of you that are maybe in debt. Most people have some type of a debt out there. It just exists. And if you're not in debt, maybe you will go into debt at some point. Just want to talk to you about what I did to get out of my debt and more importantly, what I did to stay positive, stay focused, to stay pushing. And that's, really what Tommy was asking. He's like, dude, like, what did you do to keep pushing? Like, how did you, like, everybody else would have broken, given up, quit, whatever. Like, how did you keep pushing? So number one, though, was even though I felt defeated, like deep down, I still felt like I knew that I could get out of it. I knew that I was still capable of success. I knew I was still capable of doing big things in this world. I didn't let my self-confidence go. But the one thing, and there's a lot of things I guess that helped me get through it, but one of the most important things I think that truly helped me get through it was immersing myself in self-development, immersing myself in studying the greats. I didn't go out there. I wasn't watching the news. I wasn't watching negative stuff to add more negativity to my world. So when you immerse yourself into guys like Steve Jobs, right? That Steve Jobs at one point, he has a quote out there. He's like, I'm the only person I know, the only guy that I know that's ever lost $250 million in a 1 year time, right? Like, so you see what some of these guys go through, or like an Elon Musk. I'm studying Elon Musk, and I'm seeing his story with SpaceX and Tesla, and how he sells PayPal, and this PayPal was like a $1 billion buyout or whatever it was, dude. And he got like a couple $100 million out of that, sunk all that money into Tesla, into SpaceX. And next thing you know, like he's like one day away from being bankrupt, losing everything. He's borrowing money from friends. He's living in friends' houses. Like you go from being worth $200 million to like nothing. And then you see these pain that these people endure. I mean, he obviously he got through it, and now today's worth what, like $14 billion. But when you study the greats, you find out that they've all had these lows. Yet I've never met anybody that's uber successful, at least that's self-made, that hasn't had some massive, massive lows. So when you start studying those, and you start studying the pain that they endured and how they got through it, that's what kept me motivated, dude. Because it's like, okay, I'm just going through the same pain. I'm just going through these struggles. And the only way that you're going to be uber successful in life, you must be willing to endure more pain than everybody else out there. Like you have to be willing to get through these struggles. This universe, this world, especially in entrepreneurship, is going to kick the living shit out of you. It's gonna happen, right? So it's just the universe testing you, dude. It's you kind of like earning your stripes as an entrepreneur. Like, what are you capable of? What are you made of? And when I was going through that at those times, it was like, oh, poor me, why me? Not that I had a total victim mindset, but every single day I would have a internal self-conversation of like, oh God, I wish to God I wasn't in this position. Now today, I wouldn't take that back for the million years. Even though it was 18 months of hell, sleepless nights, whatever it may have been, I wouldn't take it back for a million years, dude, because that experience taught me a whole new element of self-discipline, a whole new element of hustle, right? I learned so many skill sets that there's no other experience that I could have learned. Like there's no business school, there's no course, there's no class that could have ever taught me what that experience taught me. Those pains, those low moments become our biggest assets in our world, our biggest assets in our life. So then we got to learn to honor those. So then now what's cool about it too is I've been able to switch my lens on pain. Now I look at pain as a good thing. Anytime I'm going through a painful moment, I know it sounds weird and twisted, right? But I look at pain as a positive. It's like, okay, pain is happening in my world because some way I'm not paying attention. So pain gets delivered to wake us the hell up. So instead of going to the victimhood of oh, poor me, or why is this happening, or blaming other people, it's like, okay, I put myself here. I'm going to take 100% responsibility. The highest form of human maturity is taking 100% responsibility for everything in your life. And it's okay, why am I in this position? What did I do to create this situation? Now, what am I going to do to get myself out of this? What can I learn from this to ensure that I never put my business, myself, my family in this vulnerable state again? So you learn to then honor and love pain. And I get to the point now, and again, I know this sounds funky, dude, but if I'm not experiencing pain every single week, like if I don't have a stomach ache, like I want to, I know it sounds so twisted, dude, but like I want a stomach ache all fucking day long. Like, because if I don't have that stress, if I don't have that pain, it means that I'm living life way too safe. It means I'm not pushing hard enough. Like, I want to be freaked out. Of course, I'm taking, a lot of risks, a lot of calculated risks, but it should scare the hell out of you. And then I look at those and use those for, to improve. And again, that pain becomes your greatest asset. So then the second part of this I want to talk about, so that's the mental part of it, understanding that. And I don't really think I could have made it through all of that if I didn't immerse myself the way I did in self-development. But I'm like, all right, dude, I got to go harder, right? It's like Jim Rohn says, what you make is what the marketplace perceives in your value. right? So the quickest way to get a raise, dude, is to offer more value to the marketplace. The only way you're going to offer more value to the marketplace is to work on your skill set. And this is a problem that I have with a lot of employees, dude. Like employees, they would just want to go to work and then they don't do anything after work, right? Well, no, dude, when you're at work, that's when you become fucking brilliant at your job. That's when you become brilliant at the tasks that you're doing. Then when you go home, when you're not getting paid, when eyeballs aren't on you, that's when you work on your career. That's when you're developing those new skill sets. Instead of watching TV and all that crap, you immerse yourself on, whether it's YouTube videos, whatever, learning new skills so that you increase the value that you bring to the marketplace, that you bring to your employer, and make yourself so damn invaluable to that organization, or valuable to that organization, where they have no choice but to give you a raise, right? And if not, then you just create more opportunities for yourself. You just create more demand for yourself out there. So I knew at that point that I was in that position because I didn't have the correct financial IQ. I wasn't offering the value that I truly need to offer to the marketplace. So I immersed myself in self-development to a whole new level and really, really honed in and focusing on the greats. Like you look at guys like Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, that then they went on to sell to Amazon for almost $1 billion. This is a guy that sold out his first company, made millions and millions and millions. And then next thing he knows, as they go into Zappos, they ride the line, dude. He had all the employees there was I don't know how many of them, dude, all sharing one apartment and living on top of each other. It was almost like a drop house, dude. He had to sell every single asset, every single property, wrote it down to nothing, where literally, hey, if we didn't make this or this happened down to the last hour, they would have all been bankrupt and out, just lost everything, bankrupt and out. And you start studying these guys, you're like, holy shit, okay. And then it makes it where then your pain, you're like, dude, my pain's now nothing like they've endured, right? So it gives you that strength, it gives you that confidence to keep going, because at those times you get very deflated and your confidence can deflate pretty quickly as well along with that, right? So it gives you that confidence to keep pushing and just understanding that this is where you're developing your wings. Then from there, a lot of things that people don't talk about with debt, is everybody's like, oh, go save all this money. Okay, yeah, dude, that's part of it. Your Dave Ramsey's, your Sue Ormans of the world, they have a lot of great, amazing content, and they deliver a lot of great, amazing content. But if you look at them, when they got themselves in these high debt situations and high debt scenarios, how did they get out of it? Yeah, savings was part of it, but they also created epic companies that generated revenue to get them out of it. And that's something that a lot of these so-called debt gurus don't hit on and talk about. And I get why they don't, because a lot of people just aren't willing to work more hours and go do that and go create these things that they created. But if you truly want to level up in life, you've got to be willing to do it. You've got to eliminate or not eliminate, but reduce your expenses. But then you need to vastly increase your revenue. And if that means, okay, instead of working 40 hours a week, now you're working 80 hours a week, now you're working 100 hours a week. I don't care what it is. Go get a second job, go get a third job, whatever it takes, dude. You need to increase your revenue. Have a conversation with your family. Just be like, hey, here's what I got to do. You're not going to see me much for the next year. Essentially, that's what I did. It was like, hey, look, guys, I've failed here, but I refuse to be a failure. Right? I failed at a moment, but I refuse to be a failure in life, a failure as in providing opportunities I want to provide for my family. So here's what I must do. Here's what I'm going to do. I hope you can support me through this. But if not, it's like, okay, I'm still going to push forward through it. Having those conversations with them, letting them know. And yeah, dude, it's like Ben Kerr that was on the show, the Olympic wrestler that's training for the 2016 Olympics, when he said, you got to be willing to commit suicide, to have that success. You got to be willing to, and what he means by that is commit social suicide, so you're just uber obsessed, uber focused with the results that you want. So that is really my recommendations with that, right? So, and the reason, again, I want to bring this up because Tommy brought it up, and I realized at that point it was something that I haven't really talked about on the show. But I also, dude, every single day almost, I have somebody that reaches out to me, who's texting me or whatever it may be, that, hey, I don't know them, but they're a fan of the show, and they're, hey, I'm 50 grand in credit card debt, or I'm 100 grand in credit card debt, or whatever it may be. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know where to start, man. I'm at my low right now where I'm totally paralyzed. I can't even move because all of this is consuming me, to these proportions, which are just allowing me to not take any action. But if we think about that, like always ask yourself, like, what the hell, like, what am I doing to get out of this hole? I am in this hole. I need to get out. What must happen? You're going to have to take more action than you've ever taken in your life to get out of that hole. But the cool part about, like I said, those biggest pains become your biggest assets, because that self-discipline that you learn from that, the skill sets that you learn from that, the amount of hustle that you learn from that. Cool part is those then become like the new norm. Those become the new norm for your world. Then it gets you out of that hole and it takes you to a whole nother level in life. So anyway, you guys, I hope you found this episode helpful. Any of you that are maybe in that situation, in that position, or been in that position, or if you ever get in that position in the world, just remember this episode. Come back, rewatch this episode. But hope you guys found this helpful. Keep kicking ass, and we'll see you here next week on a episode of Leveling Up with me. Peace out. Take care. Go dominate.